Senate Bill 416 by Senator Kehoe, enacting health.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill, also back on concurrence, would require the Department of Public Health and Healthcare Services to collaborate on including voluntary questions on sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression to 2 statewide surveys that are already conducted on a regular basis. The LGBT issues would be included by January 1, 2015. The Assembly amendments changed the date from 2013 to 2015. I ask for your aye vote.
Or discussion? Any objection with using the previous unanimous roll call? Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley. No. Calderon. Aye. Cannella. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Gaines. Fuller, no. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. No. Hernandez. Huff. No. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price.
Aye.
Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. No. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Wyland. Yee. Yee. Aye. Wyland. No. Hernandez. Aye. Cannella. No. Wright. Aye. Steinberg.
Ayes 24, noes 15. The Assembly amendments are concurred with. Senator Corbett.
Yes, I rise on item 37.
Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 861 by Senator Corbett and Act relating to public contracts.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm very happy to be here to present SB 861 on concurrence today. It's been a long journey, but the bill is now unopposed and it has received bipartisan support, and it's even made it past the Assembly Business and Professions Committee. The goal of SB 861 is to incentivize responsible corporate behavior in the light of the tragedy that has been unfolding for many years in the Democratic Republic of Congo. SB 861 will prohibit companies that have been found to be in violation of the reporting requirement of the bipartisan-supported federal Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform Act from contracting with the state of California. Under Dodd-Frank, companies are required to report if they use conflict minerals derived from militia-held mines in the Congo. This measure is directed at lowering demand for these minerals through market and public pressure. Conflict minerals have been sold to finance the war, which has tragically created a terrible scenario where over 5 million people have died and hundreds of thousands of women have been sexually assaulted by rebel militias largely financed by the sale of these minerals. The issue of violence against women has gained worldwide attention as women and human rights activists from around the world have rallied to help with this crisis. I would like to thank my co-authors, Senator Anderson and Assemblymember Manny Perez, as well as Assemblymember Mitchell, for the work they have done on SB 861. And I will close with a quote from a fellow Irish person, Edmund Burke, whose words remain a constant. All that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. I am proud to urge you all to vote aye on this important bill for women's rights around the world. I ask for your aye vote in concurrence.
Senator Emerson, Senator Anderson.
I proudly rise as a co-author to this bill. This bill aligns our investment strategy with the Dodd-Frank Wall Street and Consumer Protection Act of 2010, but more importantly, it recognizes that human rights doesn't have any party. It sees no party lines. It sees no division whatsoever. That we can pull together for human rights is important to send a strong signal to the rest of the world that we care and we're here for them. I urge an aye vote.
Senator Emerson. Oh, okay. Any further debate or discussion? Any objection with using the previous unanimous roll call? Seeing none, ayes 40, no 0. The Assembly amendments are concurred in. Senator Emerson. There.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Excuse me.
Item 15.
We'll go back. Apparently there was an objection to that previous unanimous roll call. We'll call the roll. Secretary, please call the roll on item 37.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Aye. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Dutton. Emerson.
Aye.
Aye. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Harmon.
Aye.
Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Aye. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Pavley. Aye. Price.
Aye.
Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Aye. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. Aye. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Aye. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Wyland. Aye. Yee. Yee. Aye. Dutton. Aye.
Call the absent members.
Huff. Aye. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Hancock. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Padilla. Steinberg. Wright. De Leon. Aye. Oops.
Ayes 36, no 0. The amendments are concurred with. Assembly amendments are concurred with. Senator Emerson. Item 59. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 221 by Assemblymember Carter, an act relating to redevelopment.
Mr. President and members, as you know, homelessness is a big problem, and Assembly Bill 221 helps to advocate two policy goals: to provide housing for the homeless and put current bond dollars to work on shovel-ready projects. For various reasons, money from the Emergency Housing and Assistance Program remains available for allocation. This program provides funding for just the construction and rehabilitation of emergency shelters. On the other hand, the Multifamily Housing Supportive Proposal Bond Program has a limited amount of funding remaining. It is in very high demand, with many worthy and ready-to-go projects in need of funding. This program funds projects to provide housing for the homeless and supportive services under one roof. AB 221 will provide a flexible tool to the California Department of Housing and Community Development to be available to expand the remaining funds from the Emergency Housing Assistance Program to respond, if needed, to changes in the state housing needs. This is a bipartisan support, and I ask for your aye vote.
Any further debate, members? And is there any objection to unanimous roll call? Any objection? Seeing none, the ayes are 40, the noes are 0. The measure passes. Members, at the request of our budget chair, I'd like to move to file items 32, 33, and 36. Is that correct? So we'll start with file item 32, and without objection, the Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 651 by Senator Leno, an act relating to family law.
Senator Leno.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, you may remember that when the California Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of Proposition 8, it did so with the understanding that there was no harm done to same-sex couples because of our domestic partner registry, that they would have the same rights, benefits, and privileges of marriage just under a different name, and that for Prop 8 to be in compliance with our Equal Protection Clause, of the Constitution that there should be no differences between domestic partnerships and marriage. In fact, there are yet a few remaining differences, and that is the reason for SB 651. The amendments taken on the Assembly side add 2 additional differences, resolving them to make them the same between domestic partnerships and marriage. And in conclusion, just to say that discrimination is a messy affair, and until we have equal marriage rights, the need for SB 651 only increases. I ask for your aye vote. Concurrence on the amendments.
Members, is there a debate or discussion on the item? Any debate? Any debate? Senator Blakesley.
Just a question for the author.
Senator Leno, will you take a question from Senator Blakesley?
Just to clarify, I'm trying to understand the amendments.
Well, did you say yes, Senator?
Yes,
Leno?
I did say yes.
Okay, I didn't hear it. Senator Blakesley, go right ahead.
Thank you. What are the age limits in terms of domestic partnerships that would be covered for this? How young a person could enter into a domestic partnership with a same-sex partner?
With the amendment taken in the Assembly, identical to married couples.
And my curiosity is, what would that age be?
I believe it is 16 years old with parental consent.
So, if I'm understanding you correctly, we will be voting to allow, for example, a man of what age? Any age, I guess, to enter in a domestic partnership with a teenage boy?
Gosh, let me think. It'll be probably like a man of any age entering into a legal relationship with a girl of 16. It's with parental permission, Senator, and it's just equalizing the two to be treated same under the law.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes, sir.
Any further debate, members? Any further debate? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley.
No.
No. Calderon. Canella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Emerson. No. Evans. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. No. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Runner. No. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Aye. Wright.
Aye.
Aye. Wyland. No. Yee.
All the absent members?
Calderon. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Dutton. Evans. Ted Lieu. Padilla. Rubio. Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
De Leon. Dutton. Evans. Dutton, no. Ted Lieu. Padilla. Rubio.
Senator Leno, would you like to move a call? All right. And then we'll take up your next item, file item 33. The Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 705 by Senator Leno and Act relating to public utilities.
Thanks, colleagues. This is the one-year anniversary of the September 9th gas line explosion in San Bruno, California, where 9 individuals lost their lives. Dozens of homes were destroyed. Through the investigation, the National Transportation Safety Board, it was clarified that profits have prevailed over safety for far too long. This bill puts into statute a priority for safety in the operations of our gas system. The amendments taken in the Assembly made numerous minor policy changes to improve the bill, as well as some clarifying and technical changes. The bill has no opposition, has strong bipartisan support. I ask for your aye vote.
Is there debate or discussion on this? Any debate? Senator Harmon.
Question for the author.
Senator Leno, will you take a question from Senator Harmon? Senator Harmon, go right ahead.
Senator Leno, this will probably result in some additional costs that will be incurred by the company that was responsible for the gas line. Will those costs be passed on to the ratepayers? It seems to me that the company should somehow be responsible for their negligence and their poor management of these gas transmission lines. And yet, what I'm sort of hearing or reading in the papers, perhaps you're more involved in this than I am, it just passed on to the ratepayers. Doesn't seem fair. Can you help me with that problem I have?
I've tried to help you with that. I've tried to help consumers with that. That is still an outstanding question. There is a debate within this body as to whether the legislature should statutorily preempt the PUC from passing on those kinds of additional costs to ratepayers, because one would think our rate that we currently pays for a safe system. That's yet to be resolved, and it's in the hands of the PUC. This bill does not deal with rate structure. It deals with a culture of safety. But it's a good question you raise.
Further debate, members? Any further comments? Seeing none, Senator Leno, would you like to close?
I ask for your aye vote, please.
Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Cannella. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Fuller. No. Gaines. Hancock. Aye. Herman. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Leno. Aye. Tedlew. Aye. Carolou. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Aye. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Wyland. No. Yee. Yee. Aye. Correa. Aye.
Call the absent members.
Fuller. No. Aye. Strickland. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Calderon. Aye. Cannella. Aye. Dutton. Evans. Gaines. No. Huff. LaMalfa. Huff. Aye. LaMalfa. No. Wright. Wright. Aye.
Ayes 33, noes 5. The amendments are concurred with. Members, I'd like to lift the call on my item, file item 31. File item 31. If the secretary could call the absent members.
De Leon. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Steinberg. Steinberg. Aye.
Ayes 34, noes 15. The Assembly amendments are concurred in. Ayes 24, noes 15. Senator Leno, you are going to file item 36 now, and then we'll take up Senator Hernandez's item. And Senator Price. Okay, we'll get through all of it. There's not that much left. We are at file item 36, and the Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 790 by Senator Leno and Act relating to electricity.
Senator.
Thank you, Madam President. SB 790, colleagues, updates our near-decade-old community choice aggregation statute, and it's back on concurrence. The Assembly amendments were technical and clarifying in nature. I ask for your aye vote. It also names the bill after the recently deceased Marin County Supervisor Charles McGlashan, who led the charge successfully for community choice aggregation in Marin County. I ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion, members? Any debate? The Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. I. Calderon. Canela. No. Corbett. Correa. De Leon. I. DeSaulnier. I. Dutton. No. Emerson. Evans. Fuller. No. Gaines. Hancock. I. Harmon. I. Hernandez. I. Huff. I. Kehoe. I. LaMalfa. Leno. I. Ted Lieu. I. Carol Lieu. Lowenthal. I. Negrete McLeod. No. Padilla. I. Pavley. I. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. No. Semidian. I. Steinberg. Strickland. Vargas. Walters. No. Wolk. I. Steinberg. I. Wright. No. Wyland. No. Yee. Yee. I.
Call the absent members.
Emerson. No. Alquist. I. Calderon. I. Corbett. I. Correa. I. Evans. Gaines. I. LaMalfa. No. Carol Lieu. No. Strickland. No. Vargas.
Call the absent members.
Evans. Vargas.
Ayes 25, noes 13. The Assembly amendments are concurred with. Senator Woke, for what purpose?
I'd like to remove AB 710 from the inactive file. That's file item 46.
The desk will note AB 710 is removed from the inactive. AB 710. Senator Blakesley.
Thank you, Madam President. There's a letter at the desk I'd like to have submitted to the Journal. There's support on both sides.
Without objection, the desk will note. Senator Woke, anything else?
I'd like to take it up immediately if I can.
We have Senator Price, do you?
I defer.
Members, okay. There are a lot of, let's go back to the beginning of SBs. I'll take Senator Price, and we'll go back to the beginning of SBs and take them up in order. There's just a few left. Senator Price, what item do you want to?
Just a motion,
a motion.
President, yes.
I'd
like to submit a letter to the Journal. There's support on both sides.
Without objection, the desk has a copy, correct?
Yes.
Senator Price, we need a copy. Members, we are at unfinished business then.
Hancock has 127.
Starting on item 21. Alrighty. We're at unfinished business. I'm going to go through in order. Yes. And so is it on the file?
No, it was taken off.
Inactive. So now it's just, is there, Bernie, where is AB 710? It's coming off inactive. Alrighty, we're at second unfinished business, members, and we're at file item 21, and we're passing on that. File item 22 has been taken care of. File item 23, 24, 25. File item 26 is waiting. File item 27, Ms. Hancock, is that the one that you want to take up?
Thank you very much.
File item 27, the Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 310 by Senator Hancock, enacting to local government.
Senator Hancock.
Thank you, Madam President. I request concurrence, members, with Assembly amendments made to SB 310, a bill relating to transit-oriented developments in infrastructure financing districts. The amendments are substantive. They revert to existing law to require IFDs to have 30-year lifespans and restore the voter approval requirements. Assembly amendments removed opposition from the California Association of Realtors, the Building Industry Association, the California Business Properties Association, the California Taxpayers Association, and the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. Significant support remains from the AFL-CIO, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, NRDC, and Building and Construction Trades Council of California, and other organizations. I would respectfully ask for your aye vote on concurrence.
Is there debate or discussion? Any debate or discussion, members? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley. Calderon. Cannella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. No. Evans. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Tedlew. Carolou. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Price. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Runner. No. Semidian. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Wright. Aye. Wyland. No. Yee. Yee. Aye. Rubio. Aye.
Call the absent members.
Blakesley. No. Calderon. Aye. Correa. Semidian. Aye. Evans. Harmon. No. Tedlew. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Wolk. Wolk. Aye.
Call the absent members.
Correa. Evans. Negrete McLeod.
Ayes 22, noes 15. Assembly amendments are concurred in. Let's see, that was 27. 28 has been dispensed with, as well as 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33. File item 34, Senator Price. He is not at his... Senator Price, any interest in taking up file item 34? The Secretary will read.
Senate Bill 706 by Senator Price, an act relating to business and professions.
Senator Price, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Madam President. SB 706 is an outgrowth of the oversight hearings conducted by the Senate Business, Professions and Economic Development Committee earlier this year. The hearings demonstrated the need for revising and enhancing the enforcement mechanisms for the Department of Real Estate and the Office of Real Estate Appraisers.
Members and guests beyond the rail, please take your conversations out of the chambers. Thank you. Senator Price, you've got the floor.
Senate Bill 706 enacts numerous changes and provides increased transparency and discipline of licensees who have committed violations. The Assembly amendments remove costs associated with the bill and clarify the reporting requirements of licensees. There's no opposition to the bill by the regulated community or anyone else. I ask for your concurrence in the Assembly amendments.
Members, any debate or discussion on this item? Any debate? Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Berryhill. Blakesley. Berryhill, no. Blakesley, aye. Calderon. Aye. Cannella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Emerson. Evans. Emerson, no. Evans. Fuller. No. Gaines. No Hancock. I Harmon. No Hernandez. I Huff. No Kehoe. I LaMalfa. No Leno. I Ted Lieu. I Carol Lieu. I Lowenthal. I Negrete McLeod. I Padilla. I Pavley. I Price. I Rubio. I Runner. Smidian. I Steinberg. I Strickland. No Vargas. I Walters. No Wolk. Wright. I Wyland. No Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Anderson, no. Dutton, no. Evans, Runner, Wolk.
Ayes 24, noes 13. The measure passes. Senator Padilla, do you have an announcement?
Yes, Madam President. I'd like to request to submit a letter to the Journal in regards to SB 26, which was adopted yesterday by the Senate, which speaks to the problem of smuggled cell phones in our state prisons. The letter has been approved by both caucuses, and the letter clarifies the intent of the bill to create a punishment that would deter inmate possession of illegal cell phones. Assembly appropriations removed the provision of the bill that created the punishment of a permanent loss of earned good time credit for inmates caught with illegal cell phones. In discussions with the Assembly and the Department of Corrections, we understood and agreed that the Department could accomplish this through Department regulations. So the letter clarifies my intent for the Department to implement that through the regulatory process.
Without objection, Senator, and the desk needs a copy. Thank you. We are at file item 35. Mr. Berryhill, Senator Berryhill, do you? Oh, it's been dispensed with. Thank you. I forgot to cross it off. 36 and 37 has been dispensed with. Senator Hernandez, you ready to take up 38? The Secretary will call the roll.
Senate Bill 8.
Read the bill. I'm sorry. Read the
Senate Bill 866 by Senator Hernandez, enacting to health care coverage.
Senator Hernandez.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, pleased to present the SB 866, which creates a standardized prior authorization form for prescription drugs that health plans and insurers are required to use, and ensures that they respond in a timely manner. Amendments taken in the Assembly establish a 6-month ramp-up period after the form is developed for providers and insurers to incorporate into their practices. It exempts Medi-Cal managed care plans from the 2-day business turnaround requirements, as they must adhere to the stricter 24-hour requirement under current law. Medi-Cal plans would still be required to use a standardized form. This bill is broadly supported by physicians and provider organizations, patients, and disease advocacy groups, and representatives of the life science industry. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Debate or discussion, members? Any debate? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist, aye. Anderson. Berryhill, no. Blakesley. Calderon, aye. Canella. Corbett, aye. Correa. De Leon, aye. DeSaulnier, aye. Dutton. Emerson, no. Evans. Fuller. Gaines, no. Hancock. Harmon, no. Hernandez, aye. Huff, no. Kehoe,
aye.
Aye. LaMalfa, no. Leno, aye. Ted Lieu, aye. Carol Lieu, aye. Lowenthal, aye. Negrete McLeod, aye. Padilla, aye. Pavley, aye. Price, Rubio, Price, aye. Rubio, Runner, no. Smidian, aye. Steinberg, aye. Strickland, aye. Vargas, aye. Walters, no. Wolk, aye. Wright, aye. Wyland, Yee.
Call the absent members.
Yee, aye. Anderson, aye. Blakesley, aye. Canella, no. Correa, aye. Dutton, Evans, Dutton, no. Evans, Fuller, no. Hancock, aye. Rubio, I, Wyland. Wyland, aye.
Ayes 28, noes 11. The Assembly amendments are concurred with. Members, I'm going to go to Senator Woke and to take up an item without reference to file. Senator Woke, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
I would. Madam President.
The bill number, please.
The bill number is AB 710, and I would like to take that up immediately.
And without objection? And the Secretary, is there objection? You want to call the roll?
I would like to make a parliamentary inquiry.
What? Go right ahead, Senator.
Wouldn't a bill that's being withdrawn from the inactive file require going first to second reading?
Yes, that's why we're asking if there's objection.
Okay. Object.
You're objecting? All right, then. We will suspend the rules. It will take 21 votes to suspend the rule, and then we can move on with the item. Anyway, members, we have a motion to suspend the rules is before us. It takes 21 votes. Senator LaMalfa is asking for a no vote. I'm asking for an aye vote. The Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye, Anderson. No, Berryhill. No, Blakesley. No, Calderon. Aye, Canella. No, Corbett. Aye, Correa. De Leon. Aye, DeSaulnier. Aye, Dutton. Emerson. No, Evans. Fuller. No, Gaines. No, Hancock. Aye, Harmon. Aye, Hernandez. Aye, Huff. No, Kehoe.
Aye.
Aye, LaMalfa. No, Leno. Aye, Ted Lieu. Aye, Carol Lieu. Aye, Lowenthal. Aye, Negrete McLeod. Aye, Padilla. Aye, Pavley. Aye, Price. Aye, Rubio. Aye, Runner. No, Smidian. Aye, Steinberg. Strickland. Steinberg, aye. Strickland, no. Vargas. Aye, Walters. Wolk. Aye, Wright. Aye, Wyland. Dutton, no. Yee. Yee, aye.
Ayes 24, noes 12. The rule is suspended. SB 710 is before us, and the Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 710 by Assemblymember Skinner, enacting the local planning.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Members, 710 will decrease the minimum parking requirements in transit-friendly infill development, increasing project feasibility and lowering project costs. To address affordable housing concerns, amendments were taken to protect rent-controlled housing units by requiring an equivalent amount of replacement units. It provides local flexibility for higher parking standards if a parking study is completed. Recent amendments were also taken to provide exemptions for local specific plans that meet certain criteria. The bill is supported by a broad coalition of affordable housing, market rate developers, infill developers, local governments, transportation agencies, and environmental groups. Thank you, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion, members? Senator Lieu, Ted Lieu.
Thank you, Madam President, Senators. There is a Green Line project that may very well go into LAX as well as other light rail. I've talked to the author. She has committed to me that if there are any unintended consequences from this bill as related to those projects, she will commit to fixing them. And with that, I will support this bill.
Further debate, members? Senator Harmon. Senator LaMalfa, and then Senator Harmon. Back to Senator Harmon. All right. At least we're avoiding a caucus.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I do rise in support of this bill. I have a concern that many of the cities throughout the state tend to what I call over-park projects. When the project is brought forward to the local planning agency or city council or county, whatever it is, oftentimes, I'm sure many of you have driven by shopping center areas, sometimes small, sometimes large, and it just seems like there's hundreds of unnecessary, excessive parking spaces. So this bill is working towards infill where there's limited parking available. Let me talk about a city in my district. It's probably a pretty good illustration, Laguna Beach. Many of you have been to scenic Laguna Beach. It's very tight, tucked in right along the coast. There just isn't much parking there. So if a new business, a small restaurant, a small business wants to be established and come into town and open up, and the city may say, well, you've got to have 25 parking spaces. There just aren't 25 parking spaces available in Laguna Beach. So they require the applicant, the new business owner, prospective owner, to pay a in lieu parking fee, and it could be several thousands and thousands of dollars that they would have to pay for this parking. So this bill addresses that problem and allows proposed projects, particularly in infill, inner urban areas, to have parking that's more reasonable. And so for that reason, I think it makes sense to vote yes on this. I got it right this time. It's vote for an aye vote on this one. Thank you. And so I do encourage an aye vote. It will help businesses that are trying to get started. It'll create jobs and will eliminate this, what I perceive to be as excessive parking requirements that are oftentimes almost extorted by local government. So for all those reasons, I urge an aye vote.
Senator LaMalfa.
Thank you, Madam President. My efforts here to just make sure that we follow the process with second reading, and also to point out that in the analysis it shows that the author of the bill did make 2 exemptions in her own district of this rule. So I don't know why it would be good just in that district and not all the others to have exemptions. That said, this also does interfere with the local government process of what they should decide are their own requirements. So that's why I'm not very supportive of this bill. Thank you.
Further debate, members? Senator Wright.
As I understand the measure, and the jockey can respond under close, what we're saying here is we're going to give local governments the option of determining at a transit development project if they want to reduce the parking requirement. So we're not making a standard that is a one-size-fits-all, but we're saying that in certain projects that a city may decide that it will reduce the parking requirement in order to encourage the development for that project. So there may be some projects that the city decides don't qualify and the city doesn't do it. Now, that does leave the city the ability to have some discretion, and so we're assuming and hoping that we have adult supervision at most of our cities, which might be a stretch in some cases. But the idea is that the city would be able to look at a transit-oriented development, determine that the parking requirement may or may not be necessary. Members, we already do this if it's, for example, a senior citizens project, because we make an assumption that the seniors wouldn't have as many cars, and so for a comparable number of units, we reduce the number of parking spaces because they won't use them. If we're hoping that the transit-oriented development would attract people who may have fewer automobiles, then there would be a lesser need to do that. The other side of that question is that if you're building the development, there is a per square foot cost of the construction, even if you're building the garage for the cars. So what this does is it reduces the per square foot cost of that development, thereby making the transit-oriented development project less expensive to the end-use buyer. Therefore, I think it would be a good idea. If I'm wrong, rescue me, but my understanding is that the flexibility with AB 710 goes to the city, and it doesn't force them to have a one-size-fits-all, and on that basis, I would ask for an aye vote.
Further debate, members. Any further comment? Senator Woke, perhaps you can close.
I think Senator Wright just gave my close, but I would like to speak directly to the concern that was raised about the author's own county. There may well have been and were issues raised by Contra Costa County. They were issues that had statewide importance, and the solution and the amends are statewide. So I just wanted to clarify that. Senator Wright gave my close. This is about flexibility, and in fact, this is to incentivize the kind of development that we've all been talking about for a long time without, again, harming the local government's ability to do something different. Anyway, I would ask for your aye vote.
Members, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist? No. Anderson? No. Berryhill? Aye. Blakesley? No. Calderon? No. Cannella? No. Corbett? Aye. Correa? Aye. De Leon? DeSaulnier? Aye. Dutton? Emerson? No. Evans? Fuller? Gaines? Aye. Hancock? Aye. Harmon? Aye. Hernandez? Huff? No. Kehoe? Aye. LaMalfa? No. Leno? Aye. Tedlew? Aye. Carolou? Aye. Lowenthal? Negrete McLeod? No. Padilla? Pavley? Price? No. Rubio? Runner? No. Semidian? Aye. Steinberg? Aye. Strickland? Vargas? Aye. Walters? Aye. Wolk? Aye. Wright? Aye. Wyland? No. Yee?
Call the absent members.
Yee, aye. De Leon? Dutton? Evans? Fuller? Hernandez? Lowenthal? Padilla? Pavley? De Leon, aye. Pavley, no. Rubio? Strickland?
All the absent members.
Dutton? Evans? Fuller? Hernandez? Lowenthal? Padilla? Rubio? Rubio, no. Strickland?
Senator Wolk moves the call. Members, we'll go to motions and resolutions. Motions and resolutions, there's a number here. Pursuant to Senate Rule 2910, the following bills are referred to rules: SB 946, SB 617, SB 827, and SB 922. All righty, no objection. Members, there are several committees that need to schedule hearings. They are what? Business and Professions, Governance and Finance, and Governance Organization, was that one? Okay, we'll take them one at a time. Senator Vargas and then Senator Tedlew.
Thank you very much, Madam President. For the Senate Committee on Banking and Financial Institutions, we would like to meet to hear one bill, SB 931 by Senator Evans. I believe we would be meeting in room 3191. I don't know exactly at what time.
Members, I'm suggesting we break now and we'll stay out, let's see, till 5 o'clock. So, Senator Vargas, maybe you'll go into 3191 at 3:45.
Thank you. That sounds terrific.
Thank you. And then Senator Tedlew.
Yes, there will be a meeting of the Senate Labor and Industrial Relations Committee in room 2040 immediately upon the break. Here, one bill.
Labor and Industrial Relations in room 2040 at 3:45. Members, any other committees that can schedule now? Appropriations will be meeting a little later on. Members, and let's recess until 5 p.m. Oh, one more thing before we leave. Okay, banking and finance we got. And who's? Members P, E, and R will be meeting in 3191 following. Members, banking and financial institutions is 345, labor and industrial relations is 345 in room 2040. We have yet to schedule governmental organization and governance and finance and appropriations will all be meeting later on, and the recess will go till approximately 5 p.m.
We'll announce committee.
Sergeant Tony Beard will make the announcement for the 5 o'clock reconvening. Members, we're in recess now. Oh.